APAC North and specifically Reject Winity have just made history with their performance at the ALGS Split 1 playoffs, and honestly, TSM unfortunately did not. And I mean in a bad way. TSM is not showing their normal colors, but we've got to talk about not only who did good, who won, who's doing bad, and some drama that happened during the finals as well. So of course, like and subscribe to stay up to date. So firstly, wanted to make mention, you did have an announcement coming out from Geared Esports. Unfortunately, REJECT, despite them doing pretty solid, I felt like, and even winning in one of the loser bracket rounds, REJECT has announced that he's going to be retiring from ALGS, and I've actually heard that this was not necessarily based upon their performance or anything. This was something that was already determined before going into this LAN event. It just seems like there's going to be a change of his life, I guess. You know, that he's just going to move on to other things, and so hoping the best for REJECT, and hopefully things do turn out good. But also, we've got to make mention of some drama that was going on inside of the finals. So firstly, Clara is actually the one that pointed this out. This is kind of where it started for me. So Clara had said, this seems personal at this point, 18th place, and you're happy for sure. If you don't know the context here, 07 and E8 have been contesting back to back inside of this final, and the problem is that 07 had shut down E8 every single time. E8 was like at 0 points at game 5, yet 07, despite winning all those contests against E8 and shutting E8 out, it really wasn't doing much for them. They were still in 18th place, and it was just like, what's the point of this? Neither of you are getting to play this game. It just doesn't seem like it's even beneficial for you. Well, then you also saw that there was actually a conversation that was had, right? You had Nasky go over and all of 07 go over to talk with E8. It looks like they had a discussion. I don't know what this discussion was about, but it doesn't seem like it changed too much because they still continued to contest. And if you did not see, if you missed the finals, man, you missed a good one. Right after that happened, E8 popped off with a 30-point game and was able to take the dub. It was amazing. And then right after that, Nasky said, hold my beer. And at the very end of this guy literally res both of his teammates, despite being a rat, came back in the last zone to win the game. It was just a crazy finals. But let's dive into the entire storyline with this LAN. So firstly, you have Reject Winity taking the dub. Congrats to APAC North. Of course, we had already made mention that APAC North was a strong region going into this. I had hoped that they would win. They were able to do it, but it was Dark Zero still showing a really good prominent figure inside of North America. I'm surprised Dark Zero didn't win. If you missed like game 6 or 7, I mean, it was really close. They had almost won in one of these games, and then sadly, you know, things just kind of turned south for them at the very end of this, and that's when Nasky was able to come out with a big dub. Fnatic in third place, man. This is really good to see. APAC North looking very good, very strong overall. I mean, the top 3 teams, 2 of them are APAC North's finest. So big congrats to APAC. And don't forget, this is important. These placements are important, and we'll get into that in just a second. But Not Moist was in 4th. Legends Gaming in 5th. Legends Gaming was another team that was like near the bottom, weren't doing too solid. And then all of a sudden, Coifel popped off. They stopped Dark Zero from winning the game, and then they get on match point as well. So really big stuff for Legends Gaming. These guys got like 3rd or 4th. No, they got 3rd at the World Championship last year, 5th in this one as well. So nice stuff from them. Cloud9. I've got to tip my hat to Cloud9. Cloud9 is a team that I doubted a lot. And honestly, even State Naughty had put out that, you know, they've improved a lot because they did not start off too strong. Even in Pro League, you know, there was a lot of like, oh, you know, barely made it and just barely scooting by. And Cloud9, even at the end of Pro League, of course, it literally came down to the last day. And then all of a sudden, here they are in finals, and they're doing very good. So big shout out to Cloud9 and congrats to those guys. Aurora from the EMEA scene, they definitely held their expectation up to a high standard and showing themselves on match point as well. Disguise with another team, you know, I honestly thought that they were going to probably win towards the end because they were in that last game where Reject Winity win. It came down to Reject Winity and Disguise. Whoever won that gunfight was more than likely going to win the game, and it was Reject Winity that was able to take that gunfight. Disguise sadly got eliminated, and honestly, I think they would have won if they were able to stay alive. LG, on the other hand, not too bad. I know that they didn't win. I know they weren't on match point, but 49 points, not bad, and it's much better than what LG's you know, rival would be is TSM. TSM all the way down in 17th place. These guys did not show their true normal colors. TSM just really having a bad day. And honestly, I would say, if you would allow me to, a bad tournament. And don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of TSM fans out there, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. You know, like, oh, you just really love to hate on TSM for the views, but then whenever I, you know, like TSM, oh, you just ride TSM for the views. Listen, I'm just trying to be honest. TSM did not play their best tournament. This was not a good group play for them. This was not a good bracket play for them. And this was not a good finals from them. TSM did not show their CEO type mentality, but Dark Zero did. So I would just say, you know, a little bit of a fraud watch right now for TSM. We'll see how they are able to bounce back. But then Liquid Alienware was another one. I thought Legacy obviously was just, you know, at the end of the day, finals are finals, and there's all things that, you know, kind of influence these things. It could be contest. It could just be, hey, at the end of the day, you might not just show up to play. But I think that Liquid will bounce back. I think TSM will bounce back. Elevate, obviously, in 07. How can you even grade these guys? They were just literally trading each other on the contest the whole time. So, like, look at this. They're 15th and 16th, yet both of them have a win. So it just goes to show you what could have been if they had not contested each other, or if they weren't the two teams that were actually doing the contesting. Unfortunate at the end of the day, but Omit was another team that kind of shocked me. So congrats to all these teams in general. But listen here, the top 8 teams here. So that's Reject Winity, Dark Zero, Fnatic, Not Moist, Legends Gaming, Cloud9, Aurora, and Disguise have punched their ticket to ALGS World Championship. So these top 8 slots were very important, and so congratulations to these teams for being able to do that. And I know that's an exciting thing and a pressure relieved off of them. So very interested to see how that plays out. Of course, you'll have more in the Split 2 playoffs. You'll have a last chance qualifier that takes place as well, and some other ways to get involved. But very interesting to see how that one plays out. Also, not only champ tickets, but how you're going to fall into Split 2 of Pro League as well. So not 100% sure if these are accurate, but this is what Cap was basically posting from CCE, who's going to be in Pro League as well. And this was Group A. You can see Dark Zero, SSG, E8, Oxygen, Xset, Sentinels, 9 Lives, CCE, Weave, and Tripods. Group B could possibly be Moist, LG, TSM. All of them being in the same group is crazy. Complexity, Former Optic Gaming, EC, Ape Gang, Edgers, NGNL, and Board. Then Group C could be C9, DSG, T-Law, which is basically Liquid, Alienware, Furia, Drop-In Gaming, Native Gaming, Oblivion, Gaming Gladiator, Stallions, and Temper. So if this turns out to be an accurate list, which of course it very well possibly could be, then that would be a massive change for how Pro League could be played out, because honestly I feel like this is becoming more stacked as I look at it more. Gotta also give a shout out to the ALGS. I felt like this was one of their best events that they had put on. The crowd was amazing. I felt like the production didn't have too many issues. The only thing I will say is that Face It sucks, man. The multi-view thing for Face It is not it. Really wish that we still had the Twitch command center, but it is what it is. Overall though, the event was good. The crowd showed up, and honestly the matches were just that good. And it's funny because TSM wasn't even really in the limelight, and yet you still felt like the matches were so good. All these other pros that we know and love were putting on a show, and I'm very excited. I mean, you know, even the crowd members showing up. Definitely not Destroyer 2009, just rolled up at ALGS with a laptop. Honestly surprised they even let him in here with a laptop, but all kind of stuff and all kind of memes going on, all kind of cool signs. Fans are dedicated, fans are excited. And also, just to add to this is why all of these placements are important. Of course, North America has been known to be, you know, always doing well inside these finals, always doing well at the tournament, and therefore they get more and more spots at LAN, and then they were able to maximize it out, right, at like the full 12. Well, APAC North has done a good job at this LAN, and we're now confirmed that they are going to be given 10 LAN spots for this one. So very excited for this, and congrats to APAC in general, man. Not only Reject Winity, but Fnatic showing up. A couple other teams from the APAC region just doing solid. APAC South not doing too bad. I mean, you know, Virtus Pro was a team that I would really had a lot of you know, light shown on them. I was not expecting them to do as good as they did. So I'm glad that LAN was a different story than the online scrims. And here's to the future of the ALGS Split 2. Don't forget, Roster Mania is about to begin in just a couple of days. So make sure to like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all things inside of the world of the ALGS scene. And until the next time, we'll see you all later, Gators.